Hello everyone, this is Club 10M Plus's exciting new podcast that's here for you. We are all about stories, new developments and learning about individuals. Our hope is that you will join us every week to hear about our distinguished guests. We hope to inspire you, bring you laughter and make you reflect. Our guests come from all walks of life and primarily they want to share their stories. Not sure about you, but I love a good story. So Club 10M Plus have devoted their time to creating these podcasts, to sharing great ideas and stories and much more. So tune in every week to make sure that you don't miss out. It could be you next week. Want to know more? We want to hear your stories. So sign up and be our next guest. Hi, Angeline. I can't believe it's been, 2 months probably? But you know what? We're back. Part 2. I'm dying to hear what happened after that. That was dramatic. Volcano.
Oh, yes.
Over to you. Over to you.
Good morning, Krista. Yeah, it's actually been almost 3 months.
Sure has. Yeah. Unbelievable, isn't it? But we're back. We now need to go into what happened. I mean, you tell me the rest of the story because everyone wants to hear after the first one. We got so far and now we've got to hear the rest.
That's true. So good morning, everyone from New York. So yeah, after that, I recall it felt like a volcano that erupted. That I was just sitting in that thing and it erupted. But after that, I recall a breakthrough happened. So normally when you're feeling really down and you're at the bottom of the pit and you feels like a volcano is erupting, then things started to happen. Breakthroughs started to happen. And it was just really, really amazing. You know, we speak our lives into existence and whatever I manifested all of a sudden became my reality. All of a sudden things started to change and things can change just like that without even a warning.
Mm-hmm.
So I broke free, from my marriage. My divorce became final in May of 2011. And the next thing you know, I moved to the beautiful spa city of Saratoga Springs. And I only had $5,000 in my bank account. So I only had enough for like 1 or 2 months at the most, being that I secured a small 1-bedroom apartment, not this one where I'm living now, but I secured a small 1-bedroom apartment. And then all of a sudden, abundance started to flow to me. And then in June, I had more money coming into my bank account. And the next thing you know, I'm flourishing. So you can go from the bottom of the pit, feeling like a volcano is going to erupt, to flourishing in abundance and wealth. And I'm very, very grateful for that. Huge.
So that journey to get to the abundance and wealth kind of came from being right in the dumps. I mean, the lower, you couldn't feel lower in everything you did. The empowerment wasn't there. It's almost like you've been run over by a bus and then a car comes along, knocks you over just as you're trying to get on your knees. And then once you've finished getting up on your knees, a bicycle comes along and takes your bag away. Those kind of things, it's just like that continuous circle. So for me, I get the eruption of the volcano. So just to put it into context so people can actually visualize, because I don't know how many of us have actually been in a volcano. They're kind of hot places, so I've been told. And so you really don't want to be there. But that's sinking so low that you kind of can't see out of this hole that you're in. But then all of a sudden, everything changed just like that. I mean, was it that fast or was it kind of over a week, 2 weeks? Did you find the apartment before? I'm asking questions because people are going through the same emotions, can't always comprehend how they're going to get out of it at that point in time.
That's true. So I started apartment hunting in February of 2011. And I made many trips up here to Saratoga Springs. It was every other week. And I booked a hotel room for myself. And this is with limited funds. Okay, so I'm on the hunt for an apartment because up here in Saratoga Springs, it's a summer place to be. And my plan was to move in May. Actually, I moved at the end of, it was the end of April, April 30th. So I found my apartment, same landlord that I'm with now. They put me on a waiting list in March. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, we had reached a settlement, and I packed everything up. I hired a mover at a reasonable, cost, because I had, like I said, I only had
A
probably
few, yeah.
$5,000. Yeah, I didn't have that much money. That was not a lot of money.
So
So
so going back to somebody who's in experiencing that right now, or going to be experiencing it, or may never know that they will be experiencing it, it's almost like a little bit of a plan as well. You can't just
exactly.
expect things to happen for you. You've got to have a plan in place. You can hit rock bottom. That's okay. It's not an issue. The issue is if you don't pick yourself up from rock bottom and do something about it. So there's a little bit of action taking on your part, because you had to look, you knew where you wanted to live, but you had to go and actively look for a place to go and live in that area. When you don't have funds, you don't have friends there, you don't have anyone to support you, you kind of go, how am I going to do this? And then going out and saying, right, I have so much pennies, and my pennies have got to stretch until the next pennies come in. And were you working at that time?
No, I wasn't working. I wasn't working. No, no.
So that even puts
I had
more
lost my
pressure on you.
corporate job. I had
Yeah.
lost my corporate job at that point. That was actually in the fall of
Mm.
2010. So I was living off my savings. I had some
Yeah.
money that I stashed away. So one of the things that I want to say to a woman who is going through a transition is to have a plan of action, which I did with the help of a couple of people. When I moved up here, I only knew 5 people.
Mm.
Yeah, that was it. I didn't know, but I had a plan and a vision that I was going to live here. And I'm still living in Saratoga Springs, 12 years later in this beautiful 2-bedroom
So
apartment, but I manifested. I did a lot of
there's a
manifestation,
bit there. There's a bit
inner
there
work.
that I liked. I like that.
Thank
I had a plan and a vision. So without a vision, you can't actually plan. So it's like I daydream about what I want. And once I've
Exactly.
daydreamed it, now I have to go back and put a plan in place to make my daydream come true. A lot of people do a lot of daydreaming. I know this for a fact. They just daydream till the
Mm,
cows come home, and then they're like, I didn't do that. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Well, actually, it won't until you get up and you do something about it. So
exactly.
you're absolutely right. So I think then your journey became easier, because from there I'm taking it you've got a job after that, so you managed to get some work and sustain yourself. And that's about coming from a place of dependency
Mm,
to absolute independence. And people
yes.
misjudge that for,
Mm,
oh, you just think you've got everything just because you did this or that. But the truth is, it wasn't that. It was more about your story. So, Angeline, for our viewers, what is it that we're going to leave them with that's going to sustain them now going forward? What do you think is the most important thing that they can learn from you, having gone through this? And I know you do a lot of work around this, but
I do.
outside of that, what can you tell our viewers?
Okay, so for the viewers who are watching this, first of all, have a plan and have a vision, because without a plan and a vision, forget it. It's not going to happen. Number two, what I did was I was on a path of rediscovery. So discover your true passion in life. What lights you up? What lights you up? And I knew what lit me up at the time was to have a plan and a vision and to move to Saratoga Springs, New York. And this all started in the winter in January when I was still, on this path of rediscovery, finding myself where I really wanted to move because I didn't want to stay in the same town as him. because it would just be not good for me, not good for my well-being, health and well-being. So I invested in personal development. I was part of a health and wellness company that I was really, really passionate about. So I was working my business behind the scenes. No one knew that I was doing this. No one knew, only myself and a few other friends. And because I had a protective order against my ex, the New York State Police and the local police and the sheriff's office, they knew where I was at all times.
There's a part of that as well where it's about keeping safe, being smart, keeping yourself safe, having a plan, having a vision, and knowing what it is you want and where you're going. And I think that's kind of the thing that saves you. Too many of us just happy to just go along with everything that's been told, what they're being said, this is what you're going to do. And we just mull along, don't we? We just don't actually think about what is it I want and what is it that's going to make a difference in my life. I'm going to have to end it there, believe it or not, because we're running out of time again. What's new? But Angeline, I want to say thank you. And of course, we're going to share this. It's an important message, I think. You're coming out and you're talking about your personal experience here, and that takes a lot of courage.
Thank you.
Hopefully that will help someone else in your situation. And that's what we're here to do, is help each other. And I think whichever way we do it, however we do it, the point is we help each other. And I want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be on your show.
So it was great having part 2. We'll speak real soon. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Club 10M Plus's exciting new podcast that's here for you. We are all about stories, new developments, and learning about individuals. Our hope is that you will join us every week to hear about our distinguished guests. We hope to inspire you, bring you laughter, and make you reflect. Our guests come from all walks of life, and primarily they want to share their stories. Not sure about you, but I love a good story. So Club 10M Plus have devoted their time to creating these podcasts, to sharing great ideas and stories, and much more. So tune in every week to make sure that you don't miss out. It could be you next week. Want to know more? We want to hear your stories. So sign up and be our next guest.